Ah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is for you in the world. What is up? Oh, we got a chatter already. What's up, Bad Tunes? How's it going? Can you hear me? Is my audio working? Thing looks like it's on. Yeah, audio input says it's capturing. Anyway, we got a couple things planned for the day. We got the newscast coming up with Russell Brand. We're gonna do a reaction to that, as I like to do this time pretty much every day of the week. Unfortunately not. Unfortunately not. Wrong channel for that one. VTuber, yes. Girl VTuber, no. No oohs here. Sorry. But yeah, we're doing the news with Russell Brand today. And then we're gonna get into some game. Probably do some World of Warcraft. And then I think today might be the day we're gonna start, if we depending on how our time goes. Today might be the day we're gonna start Final Fantasy X. Yeah. We're doing a news react, talking about the current events and shit. It's my favorite way to start stream. Kind of cozy, plus get to talk about things I like to talk about without having to just sit here and talk by myself. I got a prompt basically. Works out nicely. Making lists of things to talk to is just does not seem to work for me at all. It comes out very inorganic. Well, thanks, man. I'm glad you're enjoying. I'm glad. Shoot, we're actually a little late today. It's already 12:05. I usually like to start about 11:55. That way we got a good few minutes before the news starts. But it looks like the news stream is running a little late too. So that kind of balances out. It's a Monday. Everybody's a little behind on a Monday. Everybody trying to get the week started, you know. Dude, I cannot find a comfy spot for my seat right now. Alright, well, since we got a little bit of time, looks like, before the news starts, let us go through some of the other recent events that I was looking at earlier today when I was thinking about stream. Where did I put this stuff? Huh. Well, crap. I seem to have thoroughly misplaced it. See, this is why list things don't work for me. I try to include it a little bit just for fun time filler shit, and then I lose the whole fucking list anyway. Yeah. I stream daily. So I like to talk about like I said, current event stuff. I do a lot of like philosophy and like general life advice shit. And talk about video games and internet culture stuff. Pretty much is the gist. Kind of hit a range of shit. Basically just the things that I'm interested in and spend all my time looking at. Bit of a eclectic individual, if you will. Alright, alright, alright. See, damn, everything's freaking broken right now. I had a New York Times article, and they freaking pulled the article. Look at this shit. Hold on, I'll put it up on stream. It's actually literally a pulled article. Put this here. Alright, page not found. I literally pulled the article. What the hell is that? The New York Times puts out something good for the first time in forever, and then they pull it. It's like the world's conspiring against me right now. I'm gonna file a complaint with these guys. Well, okay. I got one thing I was gonna talk about. Apparently, Elon Musk was supposed to start this whole thing on Twitter now of only verified accounts being able to be eligible for the For You page, and we are now what, 2 days into this? First day since I've streamed since this has started, but we're 2 days into this. You're supposed to start this on the 15th, and there is no sign of this actually being implemented. There's yet another thing that Elon has claimed that he was going to do that he is now not done. The man, I don't know if he's just telling little fibs here to get fucking attention, or if he's just trying to see how the people react before he actually goes through with it, or what the freaking plan is here. But he clearly hasn't done it. Pretty much everyone I know in my own feed still has plenty of people on it that are not verified accounts. Oh yeah, I don't give a fuck. Curse away. Just don't be an asshole to anybody and we're Gucci. Here's the thing. He said, yeah, start the 15th. He said it was the only realistic way to address advanced AI bot swarms taking over. Okay. I feel like it's probably not the only way to deal with that. Like you could probably do just regular anti-bot stuff, captcha codes, that kind of thing. So that feels like a reach. It feels like he was maybe just doing this as a money grab. That's what my original thought was about it, to be honest. But yeah, his excuse for it was to fight back against AI bot swarms. And the AI bot situation actually did get better on Twitter before this whole thing happened, before he started saying he was going to do this verified only thing. And then the verified thing hasn't happened, so I question. I think he's definitely working on the bot problem. I think that's a real thing, but I question if he ever actually intended to implement this policy. I have not had a chance to try to vote on a poll yet, though. You don't like Elon Musk? Dude, I have very mixed feelings about this guy. I mean, I'm not a big fan of fucking billionaires in general. I don't think most of them, or any of them that I've ever freaking seen, do the right things with their freaking money, for one. But at the same time, Elon's a smart dude. He's got some good ideas and has implemented some good things. And he also refuses to, I don't know, abide by the mainstream censorship, mainstream narrative, which I kind of appreciate. But he's also a fucking lunatic at the same time. Like, he says and does some of the stupidest shit while being a genius. I don't understand that contradiction at all. And yeah, like his Twitter ideas have been fucking, a lot of them have been ass. Completely horrible fucking takes. So yeah, very mixed feelings about the dude. Overall, if you've actually seen like anything about his like his personal life shit, I think he's pretty fucking unhinged. Like he has like this really dramatic fucking relationship going on with his, I don't think she's even his wife. I think it's just a girlfriend. I don't remember. They got kids together though. Kids got weird names. There's this big back and forth drama between them all the time. It's kind of an unhinged dude, from everything I can gather. Yeah, I'd agree with you on not liking rich dudes, man. Definitely agree. Hard agree on that one. Rich dudes generally just suck. Dude, I'm trying to find out what's going on with this news stream. We're like, I've never seen it be this late before. Like fucking 15 minutes in. We usually get it going by 12. What the hell, man? What am I gonna do without my news? Oh, I see what done happened.
Let's have a...
It's done. It's done streaming on the other platform. That's what's going on. Alright, well, we'll just roll this bitch back. And we'll have to watch the stream from behind everybody else that might be watching this. But that'll do. That'll do. Yo, for real though. It's got like numbers in their names and shit. Like I said, completely unhinged. Alright, but we're doing Stay Free with Russell Brand. Let's dive into this bitch.
Protest against its government robbing it in plain sight. Has the Dalai Lama gone all unusual? Have little lads been making Pentagon paper press releases and leaks out into chat rooms? Has everything gone really, really strange? Is the Matrix starting to break down? These are just some of the questions we'll be answering over the next hour on Rumble. For the first 15 minutes, we'll be with you on YouTube. We'll be talking about the Pentagon paper fallout.
Well, that's what I was looking for. I was waiting for the fucking stream to start on Rumble. And normally, like, he starts the YouTube stream and the Rumble stream at the same time. But today, he started the YouTube stream without starting the Rumble stream. So now I'm going to have to, like, switch platforms midstream. It's going to be annoying, but we adjust as we need.
Plus, we'll be speaking with Michael Schellenberger from the Twitter files and from the congressional hearings, where he was derisively referred to as a so-called journalist, along with other actual journalist Matt Taibbi. Once we click over to being exclusively on Rumble, we're going to tell you an unbelievable story. I don't know if it's true, so that's why we'll be cautious around it. But has Zelensky been embezzling? Has he been? Has he been? Let us know in the chat. Apparently $400 million of unusual acquisitions.
If you know anything about the history of this country, definitely he's embezzling.
Seymour Hersh, who, whilst he may once have been a Pulitzer Prize winner, like many Pulitzer Prize winners, he has since turned into a conspiracy theorist, almost as if the standards of journalism have radically declined and the mainstream media establishment now is devouring its own if they don't toe the line. You can join us for an exclusive Q&A by becoming a member of our locals community. There's a red button somewhere on your screen right now.
Doing this.
It's like a young person.
It's like a new dance, is it? TikTok trend.
This is what on the TikTok. TikTok's actually illegal now. I think you'll find it's still Chinese. It comes from China, is where it comes from.
I think they're still out on that. I think they are actually debating still about making TikTok illegal.
Hey, while we've been away, guess where your president, if you're in America, Joe Biden's been? He's been in Ireland, and he's been mistreating one of our favorite WEF.
Okay. I'll stop and talk about crypto for a second. I'll do this. Okay, so there's two ways to approach the crypto topic. I would say a brief overview of both of them would be an actual decentralized digital currency would put financial power back in the hands of the normal masses. And I think that would be a good thing. But the cryptocurrencies that are being pushed by global corporation organizations like the WEF and governmental organizations like the Chinese Communist Party are not decentralized. They're the exact opposite. They're centrally controlled, which would be even more power, more tightly controlled by those at the top of the authority structure, which I think is a very bad thing. They'll be able to just turn off your money and turn it back on depending on whether they like you today or not. Horrible thing to do. Nobody needs that much fucking power and finite control over people. That's horrible. So there's that front, the centralized versus decentralized aspect. And then there's the whole cryptocurrency, like Inu coin, Shiba coin thing, you're gonna be the crypto bro that makes the next fucking $1 million thing. I think that's a ship that's sailed in a lot of ways already, but it was never one that was going to benefit the majority of people. It literally pays out the amounts of money that it pays out to people by the majority losing money, and that just getting conglomerated into small pools of people that get all the fucking money, which is just another aspect of our global economics being played out in a new age method. So more of the same bad shit economically, basically. And that's my quick 30-second take on cryptocurrency.
Stooges, Rishi Sunak, who's currently our Prime Minister, used to be a hedge fund worker. His wife's very, very closely affiliated to technological giants that have their own affiliations with WF.
Wait. Did I miss this? Hold on. We got to check this out. Did I miss the actual final call on the TikTok thing? I didn't realize we'd actually reached a final judgment. TikTok is banned now? Please tell me it is. That will be fucking fantastic news to talk about. Okay, so no. They haven't done an actual full ban yet, but they have removed it from many universities and government institutions, like federal institutions and shit. You're not allowed to have TikTok on any government hardware, which I think that probably should have been a thing forever ago. It was that way in the military years ago. I think that pretty much became a thing in the military, like within like a couple years of TikTok coming out. So it's like many years ago at this point. That only just makes sense to me. I mean, we know that there's basically spyware on TikTok that the Chinese is using. If you're concerned about national security, you're not gonna want another nation's spyware on your systems. Pretty basic common sense there. I don't think I agree with the actual, national ban on TikTok being used in the country, though. That feels like a overreach of governmental power at this point, honestly. They are still debating, though, on actually doing that. I await with bated breath to see how that goes. Maybe we'll look at the video that I saw a few days back later about the hearing on TikTok, because it is an interesting video on the debate going on about it right now. But enough getting sidetracked. We're going to stay focused for at least fucking 5 minutes.
You can Google all that stuff for yourself. And
Yeah,
now,
it's in my band.
look at him. He can't wait to get off of a plane. And we know that Joe Biden is uncertain as to who runs the United Kingdom. So many of us are uncertain. Sometimes I forget which prime minister we're at because we turn them over relatively quickly. At least we went for a period of doing that. But he's so eager to get to the King's personal representative for County Antrim, Lord Lieutenant David McCorkle, a man whose name's never been said even on the internet before. He's so eager to get to him that he shoves Rishi Sunak to one side. You have to watch quite closely to see it. And the only excuse we can think of is that Rishi Sunak's wearing glasses and has Clark Kented himself into some kind of obscurity. Have a look at that moment. Look at him heading for David McCorkle, who is a very prestigious figure. But have a look.
Getting off Air Force One in the last half an hour or so, shaking hands with Rishi Sunak, who was there on the tarmac to greet him in the wind. And
bad for Rishi Sunak because he's sort of hanging at the side there, trying to re-engage Biden. But there's
Really
no way
makes
it was a
him
mistake,
look,
'cause Biden introduced a succession of other individuals, doesn't he?
Does
to
Biden think
unimportant.
That's
David
our
McCorkle.
leader? Is that what he
Looks
thinks?
kind of sad.
We are not a military junta, are we? We haven't. It's not like Pinochet's Chile. Like we got like people that still wear suits in charge. We've not progressed to the stage where it's like it's a geezer in camo now in
No.
charge, or an actual robot. Like we're still going with.
I'm
here's a
waiting on the
geezer
robot rulers
in a
that's
suit.
happening.
We've gone for that sort of Trudeau mode. Someone with nice hair.
Now wears glasses.
Talks about
sometimes.
liberalism and wearing glasses sometimes. Is sort of like an older model kind of person, but.
See, I'm not really sure. No, that's all good, man. It's all good. I like having convo. I mean, that's kind of what I'm doing. I literally just use this as a way to keep myself having something to talk about. If I had a more active chat, I'd probably do less reactions and more just literally just chatting. Well, as it stands, this is what I got to work with, and I like it. Anyway, though, I was gonna say I'm not sure if Joe Biden literally just didn't know. I mean, because it really could be either way with Joe Biden. And I'm not sure if he didn't know who Sunak was, or if he purposely is snubbing him because he doesn't like him. Because I could see Sleepy Joe just, not knowing. But I could also see him, given his racist background, just deciding he doesn't like him. Especially since Sunak is actually pretty racist himself. He's like made a whole speech about hating white people, basically. So it's like could be two racist people on the opposite ends of the aisle just not liking each other, and Sunak's willing to, play the political handshaking game more than Biden is. Or Biden could literally have just not known who he was. Which way it is, though, it's hard to fucking say. I do wonder. Dude, yeah, Russell Brand, entertaining dude. He's also pretty smart, but very entertaining dude.
Yeah, he seems pretty keen to get to the dude all strapped up in the military gear. So have a look, see how it plays out.
occasional little blast of rain here in Northern Ireland this evening. They'll have a meeting face-to-face in the morning ahead of the President's speech that Emma was referring to there.
Bringing them all on.
That guy's not important enough to meet all of Biden's people.
He is the King's personal representative for County Antrim, my man.
Right.
Meet everyone aboard with me. Have a look at Sunak. Like Sunak in glasses.
I don't even know what that guy does.
Significantly different from Sunak out of glasses. So it can't be that he just didn't recognise him. Once in Ireland, Biden gave one of his fantastic speeches coining a new phrase. Just have a listen to that.
There's nothing our nations can't achieve if we do it together. I really mean it. So thank you all. God bless you all. Let's go lick the world. Let's get it done.
Lick
Pause
the world.
for a moment before saying it. That's
Yeah.
what worries me most.
Okay.
Like, hold on, what am I going to say? There's nothing we can't
Okay.
achieve if we do it together. Yeah, that's nice. It's
Good.
phatic, it's empty, it's
Yeah.
hollow, but it's the kind of,
perfect.
it'll do.
Yeah.
It'll do for now. So that's let me not make one of those blunders. Let me reflect for a moment. Let's go forward and lick that world. Lick it good on its little tongue. This is a time where you don't want people.
Yet another awkward, slightly
octogenarians or
disturbing statement
otherwise,
from Biden.
talking about tongue suckery, even if it's an idiom that's inoffensive in the native tongue.
It's the wrong week for that,
It's
isn't
the
it?
wrong week. Let the dust settle on that.
Listen, man.
Once
I'd love
again,
to
we
give
have
him all
draw
the
your
space if
attention
he
to
would
the
just
fact that the
leave
mainstream
office.
media has a vested interest in inducing a state of near idiocy in you, so that you're so sort of depressed, bewildered, and apathetic. You can't discern truth from fiction and significance from the insignificant. Look, Trump's plane got more TV coverage than Biden killing healthcare for 15 million. Now, you might be a person who doesn't believe in
God,
healthcare.
who
I believe in
cares?
healthcare. I'm English and everything like that, and I like the National Health Service. I think it's a shame that junior doctors and nurses are forced to strike because, in particular, during the pandemic, they were told that they were heroes. We were told they were heroes when it was convenient to have them as heroes. Now they're out striking. They can't get a proper payment. Now look at this. We spent hours and hours studying Trump's plane on the tarmac, and
Would they literally do this for hours? Because that's insane. Like, Trump is. I don't know why he's still in the news at this point, man. This whole indictment trial thing is ridiculous. It means fucking nothing. Nothing is actually going to come of it. It's just a waste of freaking time. So annoying. Can we not waste our time on this guy?
myself watched Spellbound as it cut a diagonal strip across the sky. But while that was all going on, Biden was killing a health care bill. Look at this, 15 million people are now expected to lose their insurance in the coming months. Reporting on the Medicaid cuts was almost non-existent compared to the amount of coverage given to Trump's indictment.
We've
Now,
cut back Social Security and health care now.
Great.
It was pretty
Great.
interesting. It was exciting. There was a bit where he held his hand up like that. That was one of the best bits. There was that lad that got, remember, like a lad got an exclusive with him. That was one of my favourite bits as well. Let's have a look at how that was covered. Look, 19 seconds on CBS, a minute and 30 on ABC. Compared to the sort of B-roll coverage of Trump's inactive
66 minutes of B-roll
this is just
on MSNBC.
We chose this almost at random.
Jeez.
This is 45 seconds of
Jeez.
Trump's plane coverage. Have a look.
How do you keep an audience entertained with that for that long? Watches this freaking channel.
We're obviously at quite a distance to see if that is he going up the steps, the back of the plane.
It's only probably going to go straight up those stairs.
Von Hilliard, from your vantage point, at your monitor, you know the routines there.
You're not even saying anything.
Exactly, that's exactly how he boarded a...
Check out this from Terence McKenna. Terence McKenna, as you know, is a sort of an ethnobotanist and cultural crusader, a man who took quite a lot of psilocybin in order to bring shamanic realms of divine consciousness to ordinary folks.
Talks about fractals a lot.
The reason we feel alienated is because society is infantile, trivial, and stupid. So the cost of sanity in this society is a certain level of alienation. I grapple with this because I'm a parent, and I think anybody who has children comes to the realization, like, what will it be? Alienated, cynical, intellectual, or slack-jawed, half-witted consumer of the horse shit being handed down from on high. There's not much choice in there, you see. All of us want our children to be well adjusted. Unfortunately, there's nothing to be well adjusted to. And when I watch the coverage of this, or we read the coverage around the Pentagon Papers, and the sort of, in a sense, it's a story about nihilism, because the kid making the revelations, releasing that information, this was not like a Chelsea Manning, Edward Snowden, Julian Assange style prisoner to their own conscience, like, oh my God, I just have to do this. Or in the case of Chelsea Manning or Edward Snowden, and Julian Assange had a sort of a higher mission. This was a kid just impressing people on a chat room. Do you feel like that there's this sort of immersive nihilism now, that even these leaks, which to a degree appear to reveal that the version of events we're being given around the Russia-Ukraine conflict are not even how the US government sees them? They're reporting, like, you know, that things are going well, this is fantastic, in private, so this ain't going out all well. You know, there's a disjunct between those two things. Always what we're told is that these revelations are unpatriotic because they put, like, service people at risk. And if indeed they did, that would be a terrible thing. But feel like it's true that Chelsea Manning's revelations and Snowden's revelations didn't put a single well, anything could have put them at risk, but certainly.
All right, bro. I'll see you when you get back. If I don't see you, have a great day. I can't believe the ridiculousness. Hold on, let me run this back again real quick. I gotta get my thoughts in order. I was gonna say something about this, but I'm
Be a
losing my
terrible
I'm
thing,
losing my
but
mental
I
place.
feel like it's true that Chelsea Manning's revelation,
I
these
go back and look for this.
revelations are unpatriotic because they put like service people at risk. In private saying this ain't going out all well. You know, there's a disjunct.
Oh, okay, yeah. What I was gonna say was, it's been like established fact at this point that the narrative given to the U.S. people is only what the United States government thinks is most beneficial to the United States government for the people to hear, not what necessarily is true. This is conveyed very directly, pretty much, to people. They pretty much admit that this is what they do. When they say things like, shoot, I'm drawing a blank. I had an example in my head. All right, but I don't want to sit here thinking forever. If it comes back to me, I'll mention it. This is something they do, though. It's very well established. There's plenty of examples. I just know why my brain's not cooperating at the moment. We'll come back to it.
Of them. Look, while we were being distracted by Trump's static plane and speculation on how he might shimmy up the stairs, this is, I think, CBS's reporting of that healthcare.
MSNBC,
Is
potentially?
it? It's one of them.
Yeah.
That's that little eye in the corner. I don't know which one the little eye is. That's their watermark. See that eye?
Oh, yeah.
Whose eye? That's CBS's little eye,
okay.
that. So listen, this is 18 seconds reporting, so this is going to, presumably succinctly convey all of the facts that we need to know about these expiring healthcare benefits. Check it out.
All right, tonight, a lot of Americans are just hours from losing their Medicaid benefits. During the pandemic, the federal government suspended rules that remove people from the Medicaid rolls, but that protection expires at midnight. The government estimates 15 million people will lose their health benefits in the next few months.
Good night.
To the Trump jet.
See what he's doing now.
Has he got out of the car yet?
What's he doing?
The irony of this all is that this Trump, I mean, they don't mention it there, but it was Trump who signed this into being in the first place. So this was something that supposedly, I guess, when you break down right and left in the United States, the left are traditionally for healthcare and the right aren't. Trump brought this in, and now it's Biden doing away with it. So it's obviously quite ironic.
Yes, and we don't really want to
That
be
flip
caught
has
in
happened
these
many
sort of
times
tiny
over.
fissures between the two.
I don't want to say. Yeah, I definitely don't want to say that the red is, the Republicans are, for the people. But I think they're doing a better job of presenting themselves as for the people than the Democrats are, which is, a historical flip-flop. Of course, these sides have flip-flopped back and forth many times throughout history. You go back like 100 years, and it was flip-flopped again then. Was that like the 1920s? Sometime around the 1920s. And then, like, back in the Civil War, there was a massive flip-flop between them. Democrats were very much what a lot of people think about the Republicans as today. They were actually big supporters of the Confederacy. It's a crazy cycle of trading places between the two sides. It's like they're doing a little dance. I'm on this side now. I'm on this side.
Two parties, what we want to examine is the possibility of an entirely different set of rules. Let's have a look at how Schellenberger explained whistleblower stories will be handled. This is how sort of we've been primed to deal with leaks. This was, listen to this, he told us that what will initially happen is that the source of the leak will be attacked. God, that's been happening with that lad. 2, don't publish the leaked information and discredit the leaked information. Okay, so let's have a look at how some of the mainstream media outlets reported on the leaks of this youngster. Check it out. This is Bill Maher, and just to clarify, I've been on Bill Maher, both on his podcast and on that show there that he does. I like him. I think he's a nice person. But I was very surprised by the way that this story was reported on, because they didn't talk at all about the content of the leaks. They just talked about the guy himself, which seems sort of odd, because I feel like the Bill Maher real-time show is meant to be a kind of somewhat highbrow, analytical, idealistically driven show. But it's very surprising. Listen to the jokes that he made about the kid doing the leaks.
That's him, the Intel incel. Jason born yesterday. What the fuck? You know what he named the group they were in, this little clubhouse? The Thug Shaker Central. Thug Shaker Central. Also will be the name of his ass when he goes to prison.
Once again, I like Bill Maher, but I was pretty surprised to not see the content of the leaks themselves. In particular, that apparently Ukraine are suffering pretty heavy losses, and privately the US believe that there will be no chance for a peace deal in the next year and that Ukraine will never reclaim any of the lost territory. That seems to be significant information that's not being duly covered.
Well, it's about views, though, ultimately, isn't it? I mean, it's even like going back to the last story that we were talking about, you know, reporting on that healthcare thing. It doesn't get the same kind of views as with Trump, and yet you could totally argue that 15 million people losing healthcare, whichever side, whatever you kind of think of that, is a bigger story than whether Trump has got on a plane or not. And in this case, the bigger story is the revelations, not what that kid looks like.
Have a look at Noam Chomsky's famous quote. Those of you that look at a lot of alternative media will perhaps associate this with the rather more outlandish reporters on the fringes. The method is called problem, reaction, solution. They create a problem, in this case these leaks, a situation to cause some reaction in the audience so that this becomes the norm of the measures you would accept. I mention this because the mainstream media are now talking about more internet censorship laws being introduced. Let's have a look at that right now. Let's have a look. Oh, I see. Is that not a clip?
As well, I think.
Let's have a look at the clip, guys.
Technical difficulties.
There we go.
ABC News is learning tonight that intel agencies are looking to change how they monitor chat rooms and social media online, according to multiple sources familiar with this, after that huge leak of sensitive Pentagon documents on Discord. Apparently, they're looking to expand now how many kinds of sites like this they watch after all of that classified information was exposed. It was mostly related to the war in Ukraine.
So the information will be either ignored or discredited. The whistleblower don't seem right in this instance, but the source of the information will be smeared, and just the way that the story is conveyed focuses on interesting details. You would think in a responsible and independent media what you'd be interested in is the content of the leaks themselves rather than the personal details of the kid making the leaks or fetishizing his arrest. We're going to have a little look now at that Zelensky story. I'm pretty interested in this, and then we're going to go to our main story on the Pentagon Papers. Let's have a look at this. So this is from our friend Seymour Hersh. CIA knows Zelensky and top generals are skimming hundreds of millions in US aid. Now, if that's true, that's pretty astonishing, isn't it? Because the whole I've always regarded it as a pretty simplistic narrative, but such as it is, it was that Zelensky is a hero, Putin is really bad, and the idea that there's skimming going on, that seems pretty astonishing. We'll just exclusively cover this on Rumble. If you're watching us on YouTube, we're going to switch that off now. Okay, so let's have a look at the story. On Wednesday, investigative journalist Seymour Hersh published a report on Substack that alleged the CIA was aware of widespread corruption in Ukraine and the embezzlement of US aid. The report said the Ukrainian government has been using US taxpayer money to purchase
Uh-oh. We gotta switch over.
You should accept yourself.
Oh, whoa. Don't do that. Tyranny through weaponized bureaucracy. Ooh, we got it. Alright, you know what? This is gonna go to our watch later. Check out stream vids. Yeah, we might actually stream that. Either way, we're definitely gonna watch that. Anyway. Russell Brand.
Because I'm saying that's what I saw.
Okay, now we gotta rewind.
been buying the fuel from Russia, the country, And just the way that the story is conveyed focuses on interesting details. You would think in a responsible and independent media, what you'd be interested in is the content of the leaks themselves rather than the personal details of the kid making the leaks or fetishizing his arrest. We're going to have a little look now at that Zelensky story. I'm pretty interested in this, and then we're going to go to our main story on the Pentagon Papers. Let's have a look at this. So this is from our friend Seymour Hersh. CIA knows Zelensky and top generals are skimming hundreds of millions in US aid. Now, if that's true, that's pretty astonishing, isn't it? Because the whole I've always regarded it as a pretty simplistic narrative, but such as it is, it was that Zelensky is a hero, Putin is really bad, and the idea that there's skimming going on, that seems pretty astonishing. We'll just exclusively cover this on Rumble. If you're watching us on YouTube, we're going to switch that off now. Okay, so let's have a look at the story. On Wednesday, investigative journalist Seymour Hersh published a report on
millions of dollars that are supposed to go into defending against Russia and defending people of Ukraine are being put in the hands of wealthy politicians in Ukraine. Just think about that. That's a crazy thing to just think about.
Substack that alleged the CIA was aware of widespread corruption in Ukraine and the embezzlement of US aid. The report said the Ukrainian government has been using US taxpayer money to purchase diesel from Russia to fuel its military. Hersh said Zelensky had been buying the fuel from Russia, the country with which it and Washington are at war, and the Ukrainian president and many in his entourage have been skimming untold millions from the American dollars earmarked for diesel fuel payments. Hersh said, according to one estimate by CIA analysts, at least $500 million in funds were embezzled last year. They've been purchasing diesel from Russia, they've been involved in trade. This is pretty surprising. During a meeting, CIA Director William Burns presented Zelensky with a list of 35 generals and senior government officials whose corruption was known to the CIA. Zelensky responded by dismissing 10 officials who were engaged in flagrant corruption. So prior to this conflict, it was commonly reported in the mainstream media that Ukraine was, if not a basket case nation, then certainly a country with a lot of corruption issues. And perhaps that's true of all, like maybe the UK is the same, maybe the USA is the same, maybe all of our countries are similarly engaged in corruption. But it seemed like Ukraine was particularly renowned for corruption, and that
Bill Gates said it was the most corrupt government in the world, I think, at one point.
Bill Gates says a lot of things.
He does.
He says stuff,
Correct.
then the share price has changed, and he says something else. It's astonishing to watch the way that guy carries on.
I think the surprising part probably is because of the reductive narrative that we all buy into in a certain way, I guess. Even if you're kind of doing the kind of research that we do, we still, I guess, absorb in some way a reductive version of this war. And so when something like this comes out and you kind of go, hang on, this is more nuanced and this is strange, and how are we getting these kind of stories?
Sometimes even when I'm saying stuff like this, $400 million been skimmed, they were buying diesel off Russia, I think, nah.
Can't be.
I've seen that guy in a hoodie. I like him.
Oscar?
I see him getting Sean. You don't just give Sean Penn's Oscar to a skimmer, do you?
No.
You give it to and I also like that he used to be in a show about a president, then became a president.
I also don't think it at the same time means that he can't be a hero and that Ukrainian people aren't suffering. It's just the whole point is this is more complex than what we're told.
You can never appease people, I don't think, Gareth. Like, even however many times we say, definitely Ukrainian people are heroes and maybe Zelensky is to some degree heroic, they won't have it. They won't have it. They'll just say, no, you're being disloyal by bringing this up.
Yep.
Zelensky pretended to be a president, then became one. I'd like to see Christian Bale pretend to be Batman and then become Batman. I'd even like to see Christian Bale pretend that he was going to be really thin and then actually become really thin. Well, he's done that.
Yeah.
He's done that loads of times. He pretends to be thin so convincingly, the pounds just drop off. There's nothing of him.
No.
There's nothing of Bale. Hey, should we have a real in-depth look at the Pentagon Papers story, and in particular...
Because you can imagine if you're like getting mugged or something, and then Christian Bale just shows up and beats the ever-living shit out of the guy trying to mug you, and you're just like, Christian Bale? And he goes, no, I'm Batman. I might piss myself, I swear to God. That would be great, bro. That would be great.
The way that's been reported, use the confrontation that Elon Musk had with that BBC journalist, which we all loved. Let us know in the chat in the comments. Brilliant, wasn't it, to see the way do you see Elon Musk getting sort of excited by it as it went on?
Yeah.
No, actually, no. No. You thought that I'm going to interview you.
Well, you're lying.
You're lying right now. You don't have one example. Give me a single example.
It's a lie. He's turned almost Italian at one point.
I sort of like the way he carries on.
Yeah. He got more confident as that interview went on.
Oh, he was loving it. It's like sometimes, like I've had that happen to me before. Sometimes think, hold on a minute, I'm winning.
I'm actually
a
winning
little bit
this.
excited by the whole victory.
Like in an argument with maybe a loved one.
Oh, do you ever win those arguments?
I tend not to, but
sometimes I think, hold on, how am I not winning this argument? I'm so clever. I should win this, but I don't win it.
No.
Guess who's coming on in a minute? Michael.
See, I can't relate, man. That's the thing that like a lot of it's pretty common amongst men. I'm sure it happens amongst all genders or whatever, but it's a very common story amongst the men of, getting in arguments with your spouse and never winning those arguments, even when you are objectively right. Can't relate, bro. I really can't. I dated someone that gaslit me pretty bad when I was in my youth. On much younger days, thousands of years ago. But yeah, since then, like in terms of like having a normal relationship and never winning an argument, that's crazy. Like I win most of my arguments. What are you guys doing wrong? Do you need some lessons? Russell, bro, I can teach you some stuff. I can teach you how to win an argument with your spouse. It's actually not that hard. You just can't be too focused on winning, or you'll lose. That might be your problem. Maybe you're too focused on winning. I don't know. Let me know if you want some lessons, though. I got you. I got you, fam.
Schellenberger.
Oh, he's great, isn't he?
I love him.
Don't get in an argument with him that you need to win. He won't let you.
I might, as part of seducing Schellenberger.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Oh shit. Oh shit. I just realized I didn't have my audio stuff set up. My mic filters. I was doing normal me voice. Maybe I should do normal me voice more. I don't know, like, so I do this filter for the character. I haven't even gotten into my lore very much, like in any of these streams, oddly enough. Even though I do have kind of a detailed lore. I need to do a lore-based stream, like with an actual focus on covering lore stuff in stream one of these days. Maybe sometime next week. I don't think I have time for it this week. But we should try to fit it in. But like, okay, so I got this.
Or we can go without it. Oh my god. Dude. My voice. My voice is so different. I'm used to hearing myself in the pitch. The high pitched.
The high pitched version. What happens if I take that off? Dude, what if
we go just echo? I have the deep resonating echo, 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 echo. Alright, turn that off. Oh no. I wish I had some people to ask about this. I don't though. I don't. Only when there's people in chat. And there's not currently any people in chat.
Maybe we just live without it. I have a hard time deciding things like this. Things like this.
Oh shit. Shit, bro. Did we just give up on the high pitched? Did we just give up on it? I feel like we maybe just give up on it. I don't know, man. Maybe do the rest of the stream without it. I'm so torn. I'm conflicted. Probably just play this recording back for myself later, and that'll help me decide. You know, we started the stream without it, though. We're going to continue without it for now. How about that? Sound good?
If I have to argue with him, I will, to lure him in.
Right.
I mean, I think he'll be so happy that we're not like that Debbie Wassenberger Schwartz, or whatever she was called. that woman that said, like,
Wasserman Smith?
You ain't a proper journalist. You come in here, you son of a goddamn bitch. How much money you made from this? You shit cake. You don't deserve nothing.
Oh, we're off.
We're off. Swear to your heart's content.
Yeah.
Live a little, enjoy yourself. So let's have a look at, like, this is a good story because what we've done is we've combined Elon Musk and his argument with the BBC reporter with the way that the mainstream media functions. And, like, my favourite bit in this report is the bit where there's the questions asked in a press briefing. This is my favourite bit. See if you like this bit as well. Because in the press briefing, like the press, like a bunch of little ninnies, all queue up to go, oh, what are we going to do about this whistleblower, boss? Like, instead of going, you've been lying about that war because you told us that it was going brilliantly. They won't ask anything like that. They're like such a little bunch of little nerfs. Like when I used to have to work for MTV and that, and you have to go and interview Superman, and you have to say, Superman, why are you so great? And why is this film so brilliant? And why have we all got to go and see it with our hard-earned money?
He wasn't happy about that,
instead of staring into space. That's what, look, you're meant to interview.
You meant to call him Brandon Ralph, is what you meant to call him.
Superman. Are you actually you? Anyway, like, that's still happening in actual politics. That's what you think, because of all the badges and all of the pageantry and all of the apparent prestige and the italics, that you're dealing with legitimate organisations. You're not. There is no legitimacy. There is no authenticity. There is no one that has more right than you to run your community. Let's empower one another to start some madcap new democracy where we do what we want. I mean, I tell you, baby, it's time to embrace the chaos.
Democracy.
Do you know, I mean, are you a mentally ill person? Because
you know, sometimes for change, there needs to be a rebirth, and for there to be a rebirth, there has to be a death. So maybe it's a good thing that democracy's practically fucking dead, because then we can rebirth it into a new democracy, God knows we need it.
Believe me, I am. Listen to this. The reason I like this is by Mark Fisher, right? Mark Fisher, it turns out, was mentally ill because he eventually killed himself. Mark Fisher, you know, as you know, coined the phrase capitalist realism, meaning like we can't envisage anything beyond our current system. Our imagination has been shut down. So it's sort of like continuing the work of, like, I don't know, Huxley, Orwell, where these dystopias have been sketched out for us that are so thorough and all-encompassing, we can't think of nothing else anymore. But he also cared a lot about mental health. And, like, I know a lot of you are mental. Otherwise, why would you be watching? Right. No, like, you are, aren't you? You're suffering. But check out what Mark Fisher's got to say. The vast numbers of people who suffer some kind of mental illness under capitalism can either think there is some failing with me. If only I could fit into this system better. If only I were working harder. If only I could enjoy these empty pleasures more, then things would be okay. Or the problem is with the system that is making me ill. What?
Hold on. All right. Let me try it. Let me take a stab at this. I want to read it. I feel like your delivery was a little flat there, Russell. I'm not saying I'm about to do any better, but I'm gonna give it a fucking shot. I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna try it. All right, here we go. Okay. The vast numbers of people who suffer some kind of mental illness under capitalism can either think to themselves, "There is some failing with me. If only I could fit into this system better. If only I were working harder. If only I could enjoy these empty pleasures more, then things would be okay. Or, the problem is with the system that is making me ill." I think I did okay. I ain't about to win the Academy Awards, but I think I did okay.
to this system better. If only I were working harder. If only I could enjoy these empty pleasures more, then things would be okay. Or the problem is with the system that is making me ill. Why would this system work? Why would it work to fill yourself up with sugar and empty imagery? Let's have a look at how the zoetrope of idiocy continues to spin in this brilliant piece of reporting by us. Here's the news. No. Here's the effing news.
Here's the fucking news.
No, here's the fucking news.
Pentagon Papers, released by a 21-year-old whistleblower, reveal more media lying about the ongoing war. So is Elon Musk right about the media's role in lying to you? You'll have heard of the Pentagon Papers and how they reveal that privately the US have concerns that they're not sharing in their jingoistic appraisal of ongoing events between Ukraine and Russia. Elon Musk has recently said that the state media operates as a propagandist machine. What's interesting about the Pentagon Papers is that in private the US accept that the war will go on for another year and Ukraine have little hope of regaining any land lost in this conflict. Why then are the media only asking questions about the identity of the whistleblower and questions that lead to doubling down on censorship rather than investigating the validity of the revelations? Let's have a look at how the mainstream media reported this story.
The mainstream media
news in the Pentagon's
because the mainstream media is the fourth branch of the American government, baby.
Standing a little too close.
They're doing their job. That's all it comes down to. They're just doing their fucking job. It just so happens that their job is not what they tell you it is. That's all.
To one another in this clip.
Pentagon's leaked classified documents.
In fact, our positioning could be seen as a convenient metaphor for how close the government and the media are.
A member of the Massachusetts National Air Guard has been taken into custody.
Federal authorities identifying him as 21-year-old Jack Teixeira.
Firstly, he's not old enough to be in the army. That's the first thing that I'm going to point out.
A dramatic arrest caught on camera in connection with the Pentagon's leaked documents probe. A man walking out of a Massachusetts home with his hands above his head before he's handcuffed and taken into custody.
Seems like overkill for arresting that little lad. They could have just sent a couple of staff from Disney World. Get in the fucking truck. Okay, I'll get in the truck.
Yeah, they brought an armored vehicle. Everybody was like,
okay, no more leaks though.
Unnecessary, bro.
This comes after a teen whose identity was withheld spoke with the Washington Post with permission from his mother, claiming to know the alleged leaker.
Where's this whole story taking place? Mickey Mouse Club? People need permission from their mothers, little tiny whistleblowers?
The teen calling the leaker OG.
OG? This is children's leaks.
Saying OG began posting classified information to Discord last fall.
I bet he's glad that that nickname's sticking.
Those documents rapidly spreading across similar groups, causing a global diplomatic fallout.
Okay, so what's in the documents that tiny tot radical OG has leaked? The documents on the war in Ukraine, leaked from the Pentagon and other US security bodies, only confirm what anyone paying attention already knew, that the United States and NATO are massively and critically involved in arming and training Ukraine and providing detailed intelligence to the Ukrainian armed forces. The leaked document also says the US doesn't expect Russia-Ukraine peace talks in 2023. Another leak that was also reported by the Washington Post says the US thinks it's unlikely Ukraine will regain any significant territory in its expected counter-offensive, a stark difference from what the Biden administration has been saying publicly. What I suppose that tells you is there is a paternalistic and propagandist approach to the way that we are informed.
Paternalistic is a great term for it, actually. It absolutely is a fantastic term for it. It is like, I'm dad, you are son, and I will tell you what you need to know and help you make the right decisions. And if you make decisions I disagree with, I will reprimand you and ensure that you change your decision. That is not the relationship that you're supposed to have with your fucking government. Hello? Freedom of the people? Where'd that go? It's fucking gone. That's where the fuck it went. It flew the coop.
about current events. You might be all right with that. Maybe you think like, oh yeah, I'd only want a propagandist version. I can't actually handle the truth. But for me, that gap is not about how we are protected and kept safe, although that's always what they'll tell you. It's about affording opportunity to kind of keep the public at arm's length. Also, there's an important moral question here that doesn't involve the 21-year-old Mickey Mouse Club whistleblower. It's this: we are continually given a version of events with regard to Ukraine and Russia. We have to keep supporting them, another $1 billion worth of arms that will go through Raytheon and Northrop Grumman, etc. But in private, what they're saying is this war is unwinnable. If you're funding this war through your taxpayer dollars, do you have the right to access the truth about what they actually think? I believe that you do. When they're making decisions to continue to fund and continue to support, that should be on the basis of, look, this is what we really think. Ukraine aren't getting any of that territory back. No way. It's not happening, and the war will go on for another year. Do you want to carry on funding it? You're funding it. Your relationship with the state can be evaluated and understood here. They're telling you one thing while they believe another. They're extracting your tax dollars that's ultimately ending up in the hands of the military-industrial complex. And when there's a whistleblower, the media just report on the whistleblower and fetishize him and whether or not he should have said it and how long he should go to prison for and whether or not it constitutes espionage. How come all of these institutions are between you and the truth and actually your money? Researchers say the leak ranks high among other prominent recent revelations about the clandestine US government activity, a list that includes information from Edward Snowden about the NSA's bulk surveillance activity. So we now know that the state are lying to you about how they regard the Russia-Ukraine conflict to play out. That's interesting because they want you to continue funding it. Now, how are the media holding the government to account? What type of questions are they asking? Are they operating as a media might, an independent media might, as conveying to you information so you can determine and decide how you view this situation? Or are they essentially in partnership with the government in helping them to shape the narrative in a way that keeps you from understanding the truth? Here's a tweet from Michael Tracy, friend of the show, that might help you understand that relationship even more. Look at the questions that were asked by journalists at the Pentagon press briefing today. They're all about demanding answers for how the government plans to improve its ability to conceal newsworthy information from the public. Tara Kopp, AP. What steps has the Department of Defense taken to reduce the number of people who have access to not only these classified briefings, but classified material in general? Did you go to school with people like that? Sir, can we stay behind and do some extra homework? Great question. Yes, you can stay behind. Why is the person not asking, hey, what's going on? Is it true? What other intrepid inquiries are being relayed by the press? Jen Griffin, Fox
It's just
News.
sad.
You say that there are strict protocols in place, and yet a 21-year-old airman was able to access some of the nation's top secrets. How did this happen? And isn't this a massive security breach? So again,
they're trying to look like they're oppositional too. They're like, hey, you're fucking up here. Why the hell did that get leaked? You told us you're gonna not leak stuff. You're not gonna let things get leaked. Why is that leaked? Like, pretending to be the bad guy while they support the agenda of censorship. Not pretending to be the bad guy, but pretending to be the opposition to the government. Pretending to hold them accountable. While just furthering the idea of censorship. Furthering more control over information. There's no actual accountability in a sense of, hey, is that true what we're hearing? And if so, why the fuck are we hearing about it this way? It's a freaking sideshow. Or however that fucking circus music goes.
Like, why did this leak happen? They should be interested in the content of the information. Still Griffin from Fox News. What is your message to anyone who might be thinking of leaking these kind of documents in the future? Sir, if anybody else would try to look at the test papers, what would happen to them? Oh, good question, Janice. Yes, they'd be in a lot of trouble. Like, they're propping up the narrative that the government wants conveyed. This is brilliant. This is David Martin from CBS. Are you going to release this airman service record? So look, they want to fetishize the individual, make it about the individual. Brandy Vincent, Defense Scoop. What technologies is the Pentagon applying right now to both spot leaked documents online and spot potential indicators of leaking type practices? Having heard that list of suck-up, obscene obsequious questions. Is Elon Musk right that the mainstream media essentially functions as propaganda for the state? Last
How
week,
is this
Twitter
even a
labelled
question
NPR
at this
and
point?
PBS as state-affiliated
How is it even a
media
question?
before changing the wording to government-funded media. The BBC and Voice of America were also tagged. Look at the dynamic between Musk and this BBC reporter. The BBC reporter sees himself as an avatar for an advocate of truth. But Elon Musk simply says, who are the BBC?
We've spoken to people very recently who were involved in moderation, and they just say there's not enough people to police this stuff, particularly around hate speech in the company. Is that something that you want to address?
What hate speech are you talking about? I mean, you use Twitter.
Right.
Do you see a rise in hate speech?
The journalist wants to keep things general. Musk astutely makes it particular. And by making it particular, the guy's argument breaks down because he can't go, which wouldn't probably be that hard. Here are a bunch of tweets that I've personally seen that I find offensive. You know, it's not done his research because he doesn't really believe it, because he's just been given a bunch of talking points to hit Elon Musk with. Not even bought a knife to a gunfight. He's bought an ice cream to a gunfight.
Describe a hateful thing.
Yeah, I mean, you know, just content that will solicit a reaction, something that may include something that is slightly racist or slightly sexist, those kinds of things.
So you think if something is slightly sexist, it should be banned?
No,
is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying anything. I'm saying.
Well, I'm just curious. I'm trying to understand what you mean by hateful content. And I'm asking for specific examples.
What's really important, and this applies to all aspects of the story we're telling you today, is what do you focus on? Individuals, like the 21-year-old kid that's made these revelations, or individuals that are saying racist stuff that they shouldn't be saying on Twitter, or do you look at how these tools are being used by the powerful? That's much more important. Are you analysing something that pertains to the movement of power? Ultimately, what's important and what's interesting is Twitter was being co-opted by the same centralist media interests that dude works for. He's not comfortable moving away from generalisations. He doesn't have particular and specific information. He's not willing to talk about how powerful establishment interests want to use social media as a tool for propaganda, because he is participating in that, probably not knowingly, actually.
And you just said that
he's just a shill.
Something is slightly sexist.
Just the idiot
that's
shill.
Content. Does that mean that it should be banned?
Well, you've asked me whether my feed, whether it's got less or more. I'd say it's got slightly more.
That's why I'm asking for examples. Can you name one example?
I honestly don't use. Honestly, I don't.
You can't name a single example.
I'll tell you why. Because I don't actually use that For You feed anymore. Because I just don't particularly like it.
I don't even go on Twitter. I don't even like Twitter anymore. Shut up. Leave me alone. Those cars don't charge quickly enough.
And actually, a lot of people are quite similar. I only look at my following.
You said you've seen more hateful content, but you can't name a single example. Not even one.
The dynamic's changed now. Somebody was saying, yeah, I've got a note. I'm not coming to school tomorrow. Okay, let me see this note. Hold on a minute. It says here that you're feeling slightly sick. I don't even go to this school.
I'm not sure I've used that feed for the last 3 or 4 weeks, and I
well,
honestly
how did you see the hateful content?
Because I've been using Twitter since you've taken it over for the last 6 months.
Okay, so then you must have at some point seen the For You hateful content. I'm asking for one example.
Right.
You can't give a single one.
And I'm saying
then I say, sir, that you don't know what you're talking about.
Really?
Yes, because you can't give me a single example of hateful content, not even one tweet, and yet you claimed that the hateful content was high.
Well,
that's a false.
No, what I claimed.
You just lied.
Elon Musk just lied. That's a false.
That's a false.
No, wait, hold on a minute. Your surname sounds like a type of perfume.
Right, and as I've already said, I don't use that feed. But
then how would you know?
I don't think this is getting anywhere.
You literally said you experienced more hateful content, and then couldn't name a single example.
Right, and as I said,
that's absurd.
I haven't actually
that's absurd.
looked at that
He's
feed
right about
how
that.
would you know this hateful content?
Because I'm saying that's what I saw a few weeks ago. I can't give you an exact example. Let's move on.
Let's move on to the topic
No, let's not move on.
Because I'm much more confident that nothing weird went on when it came to reporting on COVID. This is the BBC. The BBC could be saying, was there a wealth transfer during the pandemic? Did it benefit powerful interests? None of these questions are getting asked.
COVID misinformation. You changed the COVID misinformation
Has
rules.
BBC changed its COVID misinformation?
The BBC does not set the rules on Twitter, so I'm asking you.
No, I'm talking about the BBC's misinformation about COVID.
This is awkward.
I'm literally asking you about, you changed the labels, the COVID misinformation labels. There used to be a policy, and then that disappeared.
They want to have a conversation about minutiae, not that hate speech is unimportant, but compared to centralized control and an inability to have the significant and important conversation about whether state interests and media interests align to such a degree that we're no longer being given anything approaching the truth. We're continually given only propaganda.
I want to say something controversial and unpopular right now. It is not, in my opinion, the job of any platform to censor the individuals on that platform. People on the platform should have the option to block other people and types of content that they don't want to see. And that should be the extent of the platform's censorship. Because in reality, I actually believe in freedom of speech. You should be able to say whatever it is that you want to say, as long as you're not inciting violence. That's the only caveat. If you're not inciting violence, you can tell lies. You can say horrendous shit. I don't think, people should necessarily put up with you on an individual basis. I think if you get shunned from society, then you're probably getting what you deserve at that point. But in terms of what is a platform doing in regards to handling these issues, I don't think they should be doing very much. I think the people should be allowed to say whatever it is that they want to say. If you are some kind of psycho Nazi, as long as you don't start saying, burn the Jews or some complete bullshit, you should be able to say your fucking hateful shit. It's a famous quote goes, I disagree. I'm paraphrasing here, but quite really something along the lines of, I disagree with what you say, but I will defend to the death of me your right to say it. I wholeheartedly stand behind that. And that seems to have gone out the window, America 20 years ago would have majorly stood behind me on that, I feel like. And now, very few people, regardless of where they stand on the political spectrum, would actually agree with that. And I think it's sad. It's sad that we want to outsource our own cognitive discernment. Like, why do you want other people to protect you from hearing things or seeing things? Just choose what you're going to engage with. And most of these algorithms will choose to only give you the things that you engage with. It's not rocket science. If you don't want to hear stupid shit, then don't engage with stupid shit. But once you start censoring people, once you give somebody the authority to tell you, you can't say this or you can say that, you're giving control over information to somebody. That is not a good thing to do. That's what this whole topic has been about. This whole news segment pretty much has been about how that is a bad idea. But people don't seem to get that.
That's the important conversation, whether you're talking about the Pentagon Papers or more broadly the relationship between the mainstream media and the public and the government. That's the significant question. Is responsible, objective, transparent reporting taking place? Is state media essentially a propagandist unit? And it's pretty clear, even from the discomfort revealed in this exchange, that that is the role of the state media. And if you're within it, you don't even think about it. Why would you? How could you?
Does the BBC...
Did anybody else see that? All right, look. If you look, the back left window, back left of the window, there's a man actually accessing. I thought that shit was just a picture, to be honest with you, but this is an actual real window. That's a real outside, and somebody's going into that shed.
Revealed in this exchange,
and they picked a bad time to do so. Look at him. Look at him.
The state media. And if you're within it, you don't even think about it. Why would you? How could you?
Does the BBC hold itself at all responsible for misinformation regarding masking and side effects of vaccinations?
Really good question, Elon.
And not reporting on that at all?
Very good question.
And what about the fact that the BBC was put under pressure by the British government to change its editorial policy? Are you aware of that?
This is not an interview about the BBC.
Oh, you thought it wasn't?
Here's Caitlin Johnston critiquing the relationship between the state and the media. The US State Department...
No, here's the
What a freaking bizarre cutaway that was.
We would not be able to make this fantastic content.
Holy hell. We have a volume regulation issue here, sir. I'm gonna need you to try to correct that for next time, Russell. I'd appreciate that.
Without our sponsors. If, like
Still
me, your
high,
schedule
Jesus.
is way too busy to chop vegetables with a knife, risking digits every time, you need Field of Greens. Every fruit and vegetable in Field of Greens is medically chosen to support specific health function, like heart, liver and kidney health, metabolism and your immune system. That's how Field of Greens helps me stay healthy. Field of Greens is the only brand with a better health promise. And if next time you visit the doctor, he, she, or they don't say something like, wow, whatever you're doing, it's working, keep it up, then you can return it for a refund. Keep your body healthy and your mind and spirit will follow. I've got 15% off to help get you started. Visit fieldofgreens.com and use my promo code BRAND. That's promo code BRAND at fieldofgreens.com. Now, let's go back to the other
I'm interested in the pricing of this. Not that I'm going to buy any, but I am interested.
Corruption within the government, within big tech, how they all work together, bloody media.
Hey, Starman's 1977 goes, it's clearly the CIA's last-ditch attempt to reinforce their position on Europe, but we can all see right through it. Marvin_Brando, this journo is no Schellenberger. Well, we'd know, because Schellenberger, I bet Schellenberger's watching us right now.
Of course he is.
For all of his talk of not wanting people to be surveilled, he's probably surveilling us right now, I bet. Joining us now is the editor of Public on Substack and renowned so-called journalist of the Twitter files is Michael Schellenberger. Hello, Michael Schellenberger. How are you today?
Good to be with you, Russell.
It's good to be with you as well. Exactly how much money are you making out of all this? Where do you get off?
Not nearly enough. Not nearly enough is the answer.
You're doing better. You've got so many more Twitter followers.
I do not like this sponsor. Okay, we just decided to check this out real quick. Hold on. Here we go. Let's show this, guys. I'm not paid by these people. I don't give a fuck. Alright. You see this? First of all, you know things are sketchy when they don't want to put the freaking price up front. Now, I mean, it's not super hidden. It's right here. It's right here. That's where it is. We'll highlight it right there. Okay. But you know, they start off with single $7 off. Save 10%. Up to $29 off. 5-star review on their own website, mind you. And in fine print, you find the actual price. And it's $62.95 for one single bottle of these organic freaking superfood nutritional supplement crap. Like, do we even know? Like, is this like supposed to be an additive, like a powder, or is it a pill? But we don't even know what it is. I think it's supposed to be a pill. It's a supplemental pill, but like with all the natural ingredients supposedly. But like, it's not very clearly conveyed. They want you to get the idea that it's all natural, green, real, organic, superfood. Okay, there it is. That's in a powder form. All right, so yeah, you could probably add it to like a drink or something. Let's see the little scoop. Like, you get how like unclear. Like, it's sketchy. It's just sketchy. It's a sketchy promotion. I hate this kind of thing. It really annoys me. The price is absolutely ridiculous. Screw these guys. That's all I had to say.
Since last time I saw you. Hey, you explained to us last time about that, I don't know, that Aspen thing, some Aspen Institute where they explained, you said, like, oh, wouldn't it be bad if there was a laptop leak? This is how to cover it. Like, and I think in that case it was the Hunter Biden laptop. Almost like you were saying that the media are primed in advance so that when stories break, they've been sort of, primed, groomed to report on it in a particular way. What can we learn from this round of leaks? I know it's you that taught us about how they will teach you to focus on the individual and not focus on the content of the leaks. Is this a classic piece of reporting by the mainstream when it comes to this round of leaks, Michael?
Sure. I mean, I think it's important to understand, Russell, that the Pentagon Papers was this really triumphant moment in American journalism. 1969, New York Times, Washington Post decide to publish these top secret Pentagon papers about how bad the war is going in Vietnam. Steven Spielberg made a whole movie about this called The Paper in 2018. Meryl Streep, as the publisher of the Washington Post, making this difficult decision to basically go against all of her friends, including the defense secretary at the time, to publish these papers was considered this hugely courageous act. Of course, it was upheld by the courts because the First Amendment is so strong, it protects this. So when I discovered that there had been a workshop hosted by the Aspen Institute in the summer of 2020, basically training journalists not to focus on the substance of the leaks, of any leaks, but instead to focus on the leaker, it literally sent chills up my spine. I found it the creepiest thing in the world. It was a workshop attended by the New York Times, Washington Post, CNN, all the major media, Wikipedia, the main censors at both Twitter and Facebook.
Wikipedia? Wikipedia's involved too? Not Wikipedia, bro. Man. I mean, I knew Wikipedia's been going downhill in the recent years, but God bless, bro. Even Wikipedia's doing the shitling now. You know, materialists got to stick together, I suppose. Wikipedia's always had a materialist approach to information. If there's ever a sign that spirituality is a required aspect for a healthy human condition, this has got to be one hell of a good one.
I discovered afterwards that there had been a previous white paper by people at Stanford, including some people that I think have very close ties with the national security state, making the exact same case that they should break the Pentagon Papers principle. So, of course, when this latest leak happened, this latest leak of Pentagon Papers, sure enough, there the journalists were focusing very heavily on who this person was, calling him a racist, saying he was anti-Semitic. Maybe he is, we don't know. But I think it was striking how much of the focus was on the person and what a terrible person he apparently is, and much less so on some of the pretty extraordinary revelations in the documents themselves.
I was very surprised to see even commentators that I admire following that principle. It seems in this instance that the protagonist is almost irrelevant, that it wasn't necessarily ideologically inspired, that it was just a sort of a kudos move in a chat room, just, oh look, see, I can access these things, that's at least how it seems, or one telling of the story. But in any event, I'm still narrativizing the individual rather than focusing on the content, and it seems that what's of particular interest is that the story that we've been told about the conflict between Ukraine and Russia, as many people have suspected, is been one that's been told to us in a pretty biased way.
No,
and
you
sort
don't
of,
say.
Kind of, in a sense, Michael, legitimizes many of those of us that have been cynical about the humanitarian perspective that we've been invited to view this through. It sort of seems that is not legit, mate. What do you think? Are these particularly significant revelations? And why is it that why is it that they continue to exaggerate the damage that these revelations do? Like, I mean, in particular around Snowden and Chelsea Manning, and the fact that it seems that the US personnel have not been harmed as a result of those revelations.
Because they need justification that is louder and stronger. The justification for censorship that's louder and stronger than the justification for free information that is presented when you have leaked information that the public clearly ought to have known. I mean, that's 1 + 1 = 2. Yeah, I mean, right?